lot of people don't realize what's really going on. They view life as a bunch of unconnected incidents and things. They don't realize that there's this, like, lattice of coincidence that lays on top of everything. I'll give you an example, show you what I mean. Suppose you're thinking about a plate of shrimp. Suddenly somebody will say, like, plate or shrimp or plate of shrimp out of the blue, no explanation. No point in looking for one either. It's all part of a cosmic unconsciousness.
Okay. Pause it right there for a sec. Enough of this hippie conspiracy BS. What the actual fudge is your smart ass on about? You think this punkster believes you? You think we believe you? Do you, sitting right here right now in the screening room, actually get what he's blabbering on about? Miller, you might be fueling some intense conspiracy theory, but you know what, Shrimpy? Director Cox is by your side. The film is by your side. And ultimately, we, the audience, are by your side. You, sir, speak
The truth.
1, 2, 3, 4! What you just saw was weird, I know, but bear with me. It's about to get somewhat weirder. There's a mastermind behind this meticulously crafted world of Plate of Shrimps. Yes, a pseudo-punkster himself, Alex B.H. Cox. Repo Man, released in 1984, is his first feature film. A fantastic film that perfectly captures the mid-80s punk rock weirdness, parapolitical zaniness, and Cold War paranoia as no other film of that era could. Therefore, the film is not just a bunch of delinquent punksters interlaced with shabby and witty Kari possessors, but it is also a timely and satirical take on society, politics, and pop culture of the 1980s, an age where Reaganism and Thatcherism are the ruling ideology. Repo Man attempts to ridicule the mechanisms of conservative politics within a consumerist era, a world full of generic products and television evangelists preying on a couch-bound middle class. However much Repo Man seems like anarchic chaos in its subject matter and its unconventional filmmaking, there is some sort of inherent logic to it. Remember when that weird Miller dude was talking about the coincidentality of a plate of shrimps?
Plate of shrimp.
Yeah, well, sorry to break it to you, you cult-savvy movie buff. The plate of shrimps, subtle and irrelevant as it is, finds its meaning later on in the film. Miller is not talking out of his ass after all. Instead, his character elevates to be a foolish guru who knows it all. So even if his monologue and character might seem like weird, quirky, and utterly non-coherent, his words make sense within the film's idiosyncratic, weird, quirky, and utterly non-coherent world. That being said, Miller, probably the most spacey spiritual repo, potentially director Cox's diegetic incarnation, brings some sort of structural integrity to the apparent chaos. Miller's, as well as the film's Plate of Shrimp logic, a unique alternative to the causal, coherent, lucid, but entirely boring representational reasoning of the 1980s mainstream, fuels the film's cult value. The term, according to the Urban Dictionary, became synonymous to Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity. This is no coincidence, as Jung's concept is predicated off of the idea that any phenomenon does not have a causal relationship but is linked through an apparent pattern of coincidental events. Repo Man's cult value is primarily created by inputting elements that are not necessarily connected through causality, but via meaning afforded by the film's peculiar inner logic. So, this cult film we keep on speaking about, what exactly is it? Cult and cult film are flexible and fuzzy concepts. Cult film, a term that emerged around the 1970s, is ill-defined and elusive. Many overviews of cult cinema offer lists of titles instead of definitions, hoping that some explanations emerge from the aggregate of illustrations. Even such indirect definitional attempts don't often lead to satisfying results. Just think about it. Is Trainspotting a cult film, or has it become a classic? What about Casablanca, defined by Umberto Eco as a cult film in the 1980s, but has become one of the biggest and most canonized classics in film history? Instead of succumbing to a singular all-encompassing definition, let's list some features that characterize cult films. Cultability over time. First of all, cult movies don't immediately earn their cult status. Time is needed for the label's emergence, and in an even longer stretch of time, some cult films can turn into classics. Non-conformative characters. Cult films feature characters that are at the fringes of society, outsiders who can't or won't conform to society's norms, including freaks, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Pink Flamingos, Fight Club, The Warriors, Harold and Maude, Clerks, Office Space, and Donnie Darko. Anti-mainstreamness. Cult films tend to be explicit about their anti-establishment, anti-pop culture, and anti-mainstream sentiment, much like how auto resonates with the adversarial lyrics from Black Flag's TV Party, which are against the entertainment products of the era.
Saturday Night Live! Monday Night Football! Dallas!
A sentiment that borders with anti-socialism.
Look at that. Look at those assholes over there. Ordinary fucking people. I hate them. Me too.
Ouch. Parody, irony, and postmodern genre pastiche. As to this, cult films can manifest their distinction, if not opposition, to mainstream cinema and conventional filmmaking through parody, irony, and postmodern genre pastiche. By mocking the mainstream, they other all that they encompass and subsequently create their own culty identity. Cult films wallow in hilarious genre mixtures, which results in a fluid postmodern pastiche incorporating the cultural modes of punk, science fiction, blaxploitation, teen comedy, the conspiracy thriller, the spaghetti western, and road and action movies. Excessive style. Such postmodern mishmash often presented through excessive style by either embracing bold visual weirdness or by creating striking juxtapositions. See, you would have an oddball cop knitting with a way too open décolletage, and Robbie Mueller's pleasingly symmetrical and vibrant long wide-angle shots. The contrast between the film's rough message and Mueller's sublime visual inscription of it is remarkable and quite memorable, for the sake of cult at least. Criticism through blasphemy. While B-movies often naively imitate and by doing so endorse the mainstream, cult films' offbeat campness is a deliberate artistic choice to counter, if not fully parody mass culture by transgressing its established norms and rules. Provocative blasphemies by nonsensical and shrimpy characters often seem like vehicles for these films' intended anarchy. However, they are actually implicitly crafted sharp criticisms against the hypocrisy and ideology of commercialization. Yeah, even the most innocent had to go. All these features create a community of savvy audiences that bond through recognizing and relishing in these qualities. Indeed, in conjunction to all the listed inherent features, cult qualities also exist outside the film itself, as it is often the film's context, its phenomenal component of the viewing experience or particular use, that makes a cult. Viewers embrace the campness of these films through their ironic connoisseurship, something along the lines of, I know this is somewhat bad, but I don't mind badness if it serves as a subcultural statement about the reigning societal, political, and cultural stream. I'm sure Pierre Bourdieu would approve of this. All in all, the community lives and breathes the cult film through attendance of repeated viewings, an almost compulsive and, just using a cult-related metaphor here, ritualistic behavior. For the sake of legitimacy, passionately and publicly embracing cult films are a way for fans to simultaneously join a tribe of like-minded souls and assert their individuality. I said, you are important. Therefore, my friends, you are invigorating this community as I speak. Alex Cox's film is much more than punkster robberies, car chases, and excessive generic beer consumption. It is the ultimate experience. Audiences' unflagging fascination in its non-causal and weird but ultimately meaningful cosmic unconsciousness keeps Repo Man's cult alive. It is you to ponder into them plate of shrimps, much like how the 1985 audience at the Rotterdam Film Festival did so. You, right here, right now, through your recurring worshipping or war-shrimping, create and by that define the otherwise hard to put a finger on cult label. Be the people that
realize what's really going on.